There's this really big concert that goes on where I'm from in Hong Kong, and it's like a whole bunch of people my age go. And I was there, and I had met about 200 people that day, I'm guessing, on this specific day. And at the end of it, after this whole weekend of talking to a lot of people, meeting so many people, I spoke to this one friend of mine. And this guy said something that really meant a lot to me, and it made me feel really good about myself. He said, like, yo, you knew everyone there. Like, how'd you know so many people? And I told him, I didn't know everybody there. I had met a lot of people on that weekend. Yeah, there was a lot of people I've known from the past. I've been going out a long time in that town. I'm pretty well connected there. But he was like, well, but you knew everyone. I told him I met so many people that weekend. And he was like mind boggled. I just wanted to say this before I go in the video because I feel like there's a lot of people online who say like, oh, how do you get like this effect that people want to hang out with you? This is an example of what I did in a certain situation to have that effect. And I just want to share with you what I did exactly. And I don't think you should be too worried about like becoming popular or any of that stuff or being really well known. But in my opinion, you're only going to stop worrying about it once you start to feel a little bit of it. You're not going to, for example, with girls, you're not going to stop like chasing bad quality girls until you get at least one. It's only then you'll realize like, oh, I just want a high quality girl. Look, I'm waffling on a bit, so let me get straight into it. There was a time where I was really chubby, and I went to like social events, but when I was there, I wouldn't really like be that well respected. People wouldn't really talk to me. I kind of felt isolated from everybody. But a bit later, I feel like I put on a decent amount of muscle. I look small from this camera angle, but I feel like I've gone pretty big. And the confidence that I had at this weekend, when I was talking to somebody and someone would come up to me and be like, yo, bro, you're looking big. Like, I saw your video and your story of you boxing. Like, good job, man. When everybody's coming up to me, fist bumping me, like, respect, bro. It's so easy for me to talk to people, for me to get to know so many people over that weekend, because these people are literally telling me like, yeah, you're top shit, bro. You're a good guy. Like, everyone respects you. When people give you that many compliments, even if they don't say, oh, you're a fucking legend, they basically are saying that, and it affects the way that you act in a really good way. As long as you don't get ahead of yourself and be a dickhead, you're gonna make some really good friends if you feel really respected. This is the skill of confidence. It's really hard to build, but I just wanted to share that maybe that's the effect that you can get from going to the gym. You can get so much more respect from people, and it would really help you socially. And when you're at the gym, it's very easy to go, if there's somebody your age, it's not easy, but it's like a good place that if you've got some social skills, you can just go up to someone and be like, hey mate, what's your name? And you might make a really good friend from the gym. I would go out about every day. And when I would do this, I would wake up, I'd go box, and I'd be talking to my boxing coach for 10, 20 minutes while we're warming up, laughing, making jokes. And then at the end, me and him would quite often have like a 20, 30-minute talk about life, or sometimes he has to go off somewhere. But we'd chat, man. And, I really enjoyed his company. I really enjoyed speaking to him, and he helped me in a way that I couldn't understand. The fact that I would wake up every day and go socialize with somebody, no matter what, and train hard. Like, the training hard isn't as big of an isn't as important in what I'm trying to say. Then after I would hang out with him, I'd meet up with dinner with my friends, or I'd eat with my family and do something. Or I'd go on a night out and go hang out with my boys, group meetup. And during this period of time, I found it so easy to talk to different people. I found it so easy to make new friends because I was already meeting people so consistently. I was in conversation so often that when I met somebody new, it was nowhere near as hard. I was so much more social. There's a time where I used to be really lonely, and we're in a boarding school basically, and every weekend you have the choice to stay in or go out. And I never really had anything going on for me to leave the boarding house. I had no invites to parties. Like, there was some things I was invited to that I sacrificed when I was working really hard, but there came a time where I would have just loved an invite to go out on one of those nights, but I never got it, man. And I was really lonely until one day I came back from this holiday and I just had like an amazing time. And I realized that no amount of being locked in would ever make you as happy as having just a few good friends you could hang out with. And after that, I completely changed the way that I am as a person. And I started to go out a bit more. I started to put in this effort. Now, when I started to do this was about a time where holidays was nearly coming up. And so I was going to Sydney for this holiday. And when I got there, I was still going to the gym and stuff. But one night, this was right before I went back to Melbourne, I was hanging out with one of my friends and we ended up drinking. And when I was drinking, the next day I felt pretty average. And I was really thinking like, oh shit, I'm really doing something bad. I'm drinking. I need to lock back in. I need to cut everyone off. But I knew that I had set this goal to become more social, to just put in that effort for a little bit. And I ignored this temptation to lock in, go fully all out. Obviously, it would have been better if I drank a bit less. But instead of changing the goal from me to fully locking in and not seeing a single person, I changed the goal to trying to drink a little bit less often. And that didn't work. But I knew that I was okay with that sacrifice, that after a bit of time, I would have built enough connections where I wouldn't be too threatened to go out often. And something really amazing happened recently when I've gotten back. Today, I hung out with my friend who I haven't seen. I had a great 3-hour lunch with him. Super fun hanging out with him. Haven't seen him in ages. And tomorrow I'm hanging out with one of my really good friends. And then the day after, I think I'm going to go to the Australian Open with my family and some cousins and shit. That was already set up in my life, like my family and everything. I'm already close with them. And then the day after, I'm going to meet up with two of my friends. And then the day after, meet up with friends. And the day after, meet up with friends. And look, I'm showing off a little, right? But it only means so much to me because there was a time when I was here and I would get back from holiday and I wouldn't have a single friend. And I was really homesick. And the one thing that would have made me feel so much better is to have a super close friend to me that I could meet up with. But I didn't even have one. And here I am meeting up with somebody every day for the next week. That is my point to you on how powerful it is to put in this effort. Even if that means you're putting yourself in more tempting situations where you might drink and you might not be on your goals as much. Now I've gotten to the point where I've gone through most of that and I've built a lot more connections and gotten a lot more close with most of my friends that I can pretty much see them on any weekend where I do want to go out of the boarding house. That's something that's helped me so much personally. Thank you for watching the video, bro. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. Message me if you need anything on my Insta.